Hey guys, let's get more news from Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Steelers WR wanting Mason Rudolph at QB is just simple math. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a quarterback controversy brewing, and it's going to get ugly. Steelers beat writer Jerry Dulac reported that within the organization there is a divide as to whether it should be Kenny Pickett or Mason Rudolph starting at quarterback this season. Dulac also noted that on the roster, it's the wide receivers who want Rudolph to be the starter. Which makes perfect sense if you think about it. Pickett struggled all season to get the football to Diontae Johnson and George Pickens, but Rudolph seemed to have no issue delivering the football. At least some of that can be attributed to the firing of Matt Canada, but nonetheless, Rudolph seemed to be on the same page with the team's top skill players. The rub is Rudolph is set to hit free agency in less than 2 weeks. If Rudolph is the guy the receivers want, will the front office pay up? Giving Rudolph a big free agent contract could only damage the relationship the team has with Pickett, and he would have to assume he is not in the future plans. The Pittsburgh Steelers head into the 2024 offseason with more questions than answers about the quarterback position. But this isn't a new problem. In fact, this is a problem nearly a decade in the making. Ben Roethlisberger retired after the 2021 season, and the team had no plan for his replacement. The best they could do was sign free agent bust Mitch Trubisky and then select Kenny Pickett in the first round of the 2022 NFL Draft. All moves were made after the fact and lacked any sort of proactive planning. We have evidence that the Steelers felt concerned about Roethlisberger retiring as far back as 2018 when they drafted Mason Rudolph in the third round of the 2018 NFL Draft. A move in hindsight was largely window dressing, despite Rudolph's ability to stick around. The 2018 NFL Draft will forever be the draft of what could have been for the Steelers. Knowing the team needed a quarterback enough to scout many of the top ones pre-draft, Pittsburgh passed on now Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson in favor of safety Terrell Edmunds. If there is a move that will forever tarnish the legacy of former general manager Kevin Colbert, this is it. After this draft, it was a matter of watching Roethlisberger limp through a few more seasons and the team turning a blind eye to the problem until it was too later. But the Steelers have a chance to wipe the slate clean and start over. The right way. The 2024 NFL Draft is loaded with promising prospects. There are also multiple veteran free agents, and even a few guys the Steelers could trade for that at minimum are an upgrade over any combination of Pickett and Rudolph. Analyst explains why Steelers don't want Justin Fields. The Pittsburgh Steelers remain one of the running favorites to land Chicago Bears quarterback Justin Fields this offseason, but not everyone is sold on the idea of the trade happening. NFL Network's Steve Wyche, appearing on the NFL Report podcast, threw a bit of a wrench in the idea of Fields coming to Pittsburgh. Why? Because Steelers' new offensive coordinator Arthur Smith may not be the biggest fan of the Bears quarterbacks. This conversation about the Steelers continues to intrigue me, because Arthur Smith, when he was the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, he wanted no parts of Justin Fields, Wyche said. He had the possibility to draft him. They took Kyle Pitts. Why now, all of a sudden, with the head coach who designed the offense taking a liking to Justin Fields? Wyche pointed out that, even with Matt Ryan nearing the end of his time with the Falcons, Smith decided against drafting Fields in 2021. Instead, the team waited and selected Desmond Ridder in the third round of the 2022 NFL Draft. That's why this conversation on the Steelers, and Arthur Smith, and how he'd be a perfect fit. Why? Arthur Smith didn't want him once, Wyche said. Why would he want him right now? I may be completely off base, but I don't see that. The Steelers are reportedly big fans of Fields, but that's the front office and head coach Mike Tomlin. If Smith is not a fan of the former Ohio State star, Pittsburgh may avoid any conflict and try to give their new OC the quarterback of his liking. That fit may be Kenny Pickett, and could be Mason Rudolph. Ryan Tannehill has also been tossed out as an option due to his connection with Smith in Tennessee. The Chicago Bears' 2021 first-round draft pick and starting quarterback, Justin Fields, has been the subject of trade rumors heading into the final stretch of the season. In addition to the below-expected performance, the Bears have the first overall pick in the next draft. A recruitment that features big names in college football in the quarterback position, such as J.J. McCarthy, Michigan, and Caleb Williams, Southern California. Aware of these rumors, Fields decided to take a break from football this offseason, unfollowing the Bears and the NFL's official Instagram page. Yes, of course. Of course I want to stay. I can't see myself playing anywhere else, but I know what the league is like, said Fields during an appearance on the St. Brown Brothers podcast. This was the first public statement made by the player regarding the past NFL season. The podcast is hosted by the two St. Brown brothers, who are named after Egyptian gods, Equinamus and Amon-Ra. In the conversation, Fields said he doesn't know what the Chicago Bears' plans are for the future, and if they are going to trade the player, he asked to be notified. I feel like the biggest thing with all of this happening right now is that I just want it to be over. Just let me know if I'm going to get traded. Let me know if I'm staying. Fields concluded. Diontae Johnson doubtful to stay with the Pittsburgh Steelers beyond 2024, according to report. It's going to be a big offseason for the Pittsburgh Steelers, as they have to make a decision on extending Diontae Johnson. And if reports are to be believed, the chances for Johnson to get his appear unlikely. That was what Mark Madden said during his February 19th episode of the Breakfast with Ben's podcast, when he talked about Diontae Johnson's murky future in Pittsburgh. I've heard Diontae Johnson's future is in doubt, said Madden. I've heard whispers he plans to have a hold-in again, like he did 2 years ago, because we're going into the last year of his contract, and he's going to make noise over Pickett at quarterback. I'm not a Diontae fan. I think he's mediocre, and they pay them way too much. But if you're gonna get rid of him because he's not a Pickett guy? I mean, come on, he added. Diontae Johnson managed to record 51 receptions for 717 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns in 13 regular season games during the 2023 NFL season. However, more than anything, the Toledo product was known for making headlines for all the wrong reasons. In their Week 8 20-10 loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars, Johnson placed the blame for the defeat on the NFL referees, saying that they should get fined. In Week 11, Johnson got himself in trouble when he engaged in a heated locker room argument with Minkah Fitzpatrick. And then, 1 week after that, the 27-year-old wideout was ripped mercilessly by the fans when he showed little to no effort on a fumble against the Cincinnati Bengals. Diontae Johnson has proven that he is an above-average wide receiver when motivated. And if the Pittsburgh Steelers decide to trade him, they should be able to fetch back some assets. The New England Patriots, Kansas City Chiefs, and Carolina Panthers are some of the top trade destinations for Johnson, since they all need to fortify their WR depth. And you fan, what do you think of the Diontae Johnson situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.